everybody. I'm Ava from EsSpa. This is Erica and Susan. Scott is a missing chain today, but he's doing some fun things, and he said, "Oh, I've been missing this," and we'll miss him as well. Obviously, he is the life of
We
the party
do.
for sure.
Yes, we miss
Well, we're
Scott.
gonna try to up it a little bit. So I think we have a good. He sent us some good contents that what we should talk about. I read it. I never really even heard that concept before at all.
I don't think you're alone, Ava. I think a lot of people aren't familiar with it. And it's fascinating that it's the Cambridge Dictionary's word of the year.
Wow. Really? So what is
which
it?
is identifying, a trend and a need for this
What
word.
is the word?
Parasocial.
Parasocial. I have not heard that word. I must be living under a rock. So,
No,
do you?
I didn't even understand it. Like
Yeah.
I don't. I'm just sort of.
Can you explain it?
I'm
Susan, you
happy
had
to.
somewhat of a good explanation earlier, but
Yeah. So in today's world, we've never been exposed to more, and we are exposed to most of it virtually. And parasocial as a word, it encompasses the experience of a perceived and a real connection to what we see online and streaming on social platforms as well as television and movies. And we identify with individuals and we believe we know them personally. And in many ways, we do know a lot about them. Think about influencers and how transparent they are. Think about all the content and the videos that we see recorded from real life.
Mm-hmm.
And we begin to relate to these people and these contexts. But these people and contexts do not know us. They don't know the audience. And a parasocial experience is when you connect and relate to somebody. And in the article that Scott shared, the photo is of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And I would say that's a prime example for many people who have such a sense of a bond with one or both of them and follow their relationship arc. And, of course, they know very few of their following in the same way we know them.
I think it's stalking. It's not. I'm confused. Those are stalkers. They're obsessed, and they
think this is a new phenomenon. I think it's just rebranded because people have always done this with celebrities.
Always.
And
True.
even if it was a character, because it used to be when we were younger that it was more characters. Like we all loved the font.
Explain that, Erica, because I see Ava kind of.
I am like totally.
But it's we do identify with that.
Yes. So when we were growing up in the United States, television was a big part of our life, and everybody would be kind of watching the same 3 channels, and you didn't get to just choose whatever you wanted. You had to wait till they broadcast what they wanted.
When and what.
And everyone had a TV guide. We wanted to know when this was playing, and it was a big deal. But the people on TV, the characters, were kind of in the same boat. They weren't real. They were people playing these characters, but these characters became so important to our lives that people wanted to emulate them. And I mean, I will admit right now, you're going to think this is really odd, but I used to put posters up all over my walls of like Chachi from Happy Days.
How is that odd?
I had William Lanes from A to Z.
Of course you did. I was going to marry David Cassidy.
Oh, okay.
God rest his soul.
Sean Cassidy here.
And people still mourn him.
I like Sean.
I did too.
A do run.
A do run.
Well, I guess the poster, I get that, but I don't understand the concept when they take it further, like you associate that and then you feel like we are friends now.
Let me give you an example.
You just idolizing them. That's in my eyes.
Yes, and what I think Erica was getting at, which may not be the case as much anymore as we've become increasingly sophisticated in terms of our ability to process information
Mhm.
that is coming at us from some form of a screen. But when we were younger, we would hear stories all of the time from people who were celebrities, particularly those on television, who played a recurring role. And for example, on what soap operas, which you know what
Yeah,
we mean by that,
telenovelas are all
right?
call them. Yeah.
Telenovela. On soap operas, these characters came in same time every day, Monday through Friday, and I really didn't know anybody who wasn't familiar with at least one cast of a soap opera, and they were dedicated groupies. And women would meet, it's very often women in those days, they would meet a doctor, someone who played a doctor, and they would ask them for medical advice, or they would write to them, because they did not separate the reality for those actors and who they were on television. They were very real to them. Now, fast forward, it is comical and we laugh at that, but and at that time, those people most likely were coming from the era of radio and silver screen, which is the movie theater, and did not this experience in a context like we did here, we being raised with television. So for them, that character was a doctor, that character was a nurse, that character was a villain, that character was a lawyer, whatever that they were seeing.
And some of these people were on for 20, 30 years.
Yes,
like
decades.
Remember Erica Kane?
The soap operas, yes.
I was so happy I had the same name as her.
I bet.
But she wasn't Erica. She was Susan Lucci.
Yeah.
And I think she was on my entire life from the minute I can even watch.
Of course she was.
My older sisters or somebody would be
was.
watching All My Children, and she was there. And I'm like, her name's Erica, like me, Erica Kane. She must have been married on the show 12 times. She was an international model, maybe it's a spy. I think she played just about every type of character, Erica Kane. And I was so happy.
She didn't age.
She was so beautiful and so poised. And she was on the show my entire life. It was amazing. So that becomes, these bigger than life people. And then the biggest one in high school, and I'm sure Susan must know this, was on General Hospital, Luke and Laura.
Luke and Laura.
The Love Story. Have you heard of that?
No. Oh, Love Story. The movie called The Love Story, right?
No, this was Luke and Laura.
But that's a good one.
Luke and Laura had the second amount after
highest rate in television
Princess
history.
Di and Charles's wedding.
Okay.
Theirs was
Came
the
later.
second most viewed wedding on TV, and they're not even real people.
Oh, wow.
Luke and Laura.
My classmates stayed home from school.
Wow.
My father bought a VCR.
You bought a VCR to record it.
Practice.
Yeah.
But is this...
I sort of hinted at the fact that my classmates were staying home from school, and my parents looked at me like I had 3 heads, and I knew to just be quiet and get on the bus. No, I was not going to be one of those people.
Wow.
It was going to.
Did you see the rerun though?
But they did the rerun.
Yeah, of course.
What is it, like a mental illness?
Yeah.
Or something? Because
I mean, that's what I think we're exploring, Ava, and you're asking a really good question. It's an altered state of perception, which can be quite dangerous.
It's an addiction,
because it's
right?
consuming you.
Yes.
It's altered your relationship with reality. And it is real. And I truly, I'm a huge fan of movies, documentaries, reality TV, all of it. And I feel and live not through these people, but I do connect with them. And it's fascinating to watch either a storyline that's fiction or in many cases somewhat real unfold. And because people are so transparent, you're not just watching it. And this is what I think is important. I want to understand what you ladies think. You no longer see it for a half hour or an hour.
You can't separate.
You can't, because then they're on social media platforms and doing podcasts.
Okay.
and doing interviews, and they're on red carpets, and they're getting their own content out there, their own brands and retailing. And so in many ways, you're immersed in whatever they're presenting to you, and they are reaching out continuously.
In a way, though, Susan, I think, this is just my opinion, that's almost diminished it for me, because they're becoming, first of all, they're real. They're really playing themselves in the new reality
piece,
and so it's not a character. So they're going to be more real, you think. And also, because they're so accessible and you can see every aspect of brushing their teeth to flossing to whatever, it's not as like bigger than life as it was with just the Fonz coming in with his leather jacket saying cool, right? So
we're less worshipful.
Yes, because we can get into their bathroom with them as they're flossing their teeth. So it's not like the same mystique as it was before. So for me, at least, I don't get as excited about these influencers today. Maybe it's because I'm older, but I also think just because it's become so routine. I'm not as excited about it as I was when I was younger, because I was very influenced when I was a kid. Like I said, I had the posters. I would shut the TV off and then I would play. Like I would dress up like Pinky Tuscadero. I was Pinky Tuscadero.
Love this.
But I think I was disappointed because I feel like some of these shows are so obviously fake. Some of these reality, and just to get your attention,
very obvious.
So I don't trust it. Like that's how she's brushing her teeth, because I just.
Did you ever have a movie star or a television star that you felt particularly a fan of or romanticized?
I mean, I think Roger Moore to me was like the first James Bond movie for me was The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, that's a goodie.
And I mean, I was like, he was funny and to me extremely attractive. Yes. So I remember thinking, wow, this is my ideal man. And the lady who I should know her name, but also was an absolute, the Bond girl at that movie was just a beauty. And it's like, wow, stunner. And the story was futuristic, for us Hungarians at the time. And I really did love that one. So I would say yes. And then afterwards, probably any Western movies, the Robert Redford types that we got from the West, that to us was very American, So I remember that. But I don't know. Posters, I had Madonna for us, any MTV. But I don't remember
You didn't confuse the person with the character.
Yeah, I'm when you were saying about, and I read the article too, and the whole idea of I'm thinking that I'm friends with Madonna, that is so foreign to me. Now I had plenty of posters, and I knew her songs, and I thought she was great, but I don't know if I would have went that far.
Yeah.
I would have been like probably just love to be in a concert and just singing to her song. But
the line wasn't blurred.
Yeah. I wonder if this is just this whole, we have, like you said, we have so many, we're seeing them much more than just the television, and then we have to go to work. Now it's on our phones and our iPads everywhere. Yeah. And we, like you said, some people just cannot take the separation. But they actually believe that they are friends with them. It's fascinating.
That brings us maybe to obsessive traits,
right?
People who tend to have an obsession with something or someone. And I wonder what drives that part of nature.
Yeah, you could see people tattooing certain, like her face maybe in their body, or, how about I hear that they would go to all the concerts or traveling to other countries.
And as you said earlier, stalkers, that's a real thing.
Yeah, right?
Some of these stars, they have what we think is a glamorous and amazing life, but they have so much security and they have so much vulnerability with their fame.
People who want to be just around him. I remember going to a Tony Robbins workshop many, many years ago, and I was just so excited. I find him so inspirational and just get you going. And one of the things that they told us, it was thousands of people in that place that we were in Texas, and they said, please, when he gets close to you, don't grab him, because just imagine how many of you, he gets actually bruised up. And, he has to be here with you guys for these 3 days. He's on the stage, 6 to 8 hours, and you all people just coming up and grabbing and wanting to hug. It's draining, And I thought about it as you were speaking, like, I can't even... You just want to give him a hug because you're like, thank you so much. You're helping me to open my business, or I have to be motivating me, or saving my marriage, or whatever he was talking to us about. And you just want to give him a hug, but you don't realize how, right? Or people who have to shake their hand, like I mean, I can't imagine that many people wanting a piece of you a little bit.
Must be what it feels like.
And probably with goodness, in a sense.
Sure,
because
it's human. And that's that parasocial. There is a real social connection being created. The connection is real, but it's very one-sided.
I think people are lonely. I think that's what it stems from. They want so much to be in a community that's fun and happy, and they see, this other reality that they don't see in their own life, and they're thinking, I would like to be in that reality, whether it's real, imagined or fake or whatever. It's an escape, and it takes you to
images, a series of images that many of them are curated, very carefully promoted.
So I think people who are, maybe they're looking into another little window, kind of like reading a book, but shorter, faster, a little glimpse in a little window into a different reality than what they're used to every day. And it seems very exciting and new, and that could be very powerful and influential. And one of the reasons why I think people had somewhat of a distorted view of the United States who've come from other places. So did that happen to you?
No, I don't remember that. I just thought that Hollywood and pretty people is all just living in this country. Just everybody's beautiful and everybody's smiling and everybody's rich and famous. And if you want to be rich and famous, you get here. And I mean, first time I went to Las Vegas, wow, it was magic for me. I never, the lights and everything, it was just so cool. But I would love to know what your opinion about the people who like a Taylor Swift, who shares video of herself or the Instagram. She does put these things out there. So she's almost like teases you with this, right? Because she shares a lot. Or maybe somebody else. I don't want to, I think she's an amazing woman. I don't mean to say anything negative. I'm just saying, like,
you don't want the Swifties to turn.
I know, right? But it's when you share that much, there is gonna be
an expectation.
Yeah, and I don't know if they are. Should they or do they need to, or what would she say about this article or this phenomenon? Like I can't imagine having a stalker. Like it's got to be like extremely scary and sort of invading your life, but it comes with the way you living, because you do share. And some celebrities choosing a very private life. That they covering up their kids' faces in pictures, or they refusing to not to share it. And then, like, I remember the Osbournes had this really cool reality show, and one of the daughter was not part of it. And I'm not sure the reason, but I always thought maybe she didn't want that part.
She didn't
want to share.
Really vocal about it now.
Okay.
Yeah, and she remained out of it, although she was, by everything I've read, she was always being coaxed into it.
How old was she at the time?
She's the eldest of the children.
Okay.
Well, she didn't want to compromise her life, and she felt very strongly about it, and she didn't want that much invasion.
Mm-hmm.
And the other two were younger, and I think that had a lot to do with the fact that perhaps they just deferred.
Yeah. And I think a lot of these young people who are just grow up in Hollywood, I mean, a lot of them don't even really know anything different. Like that was their life since the
true.
time they were born. They
Right.
always under the lights and their upbringings were anything
We
but
watch
normal.
some people grow up on
Yeah,
television.
and they're anything. I mean, their path is anything but normal. So how can
It
we expect
couldn't
them
be.
to be normal if the path is always under a microscope with people everywhere? That would be very difficult, and a lot of them have problems
Of course.
for various reasons, And it's here you think, oh my goodness, how much fun it would be to be on TV.
It's such a trade-off.
Yeah, it is. You have to have that. It's extremely. I actually always like fantasize like maybe a singer or something that. But then you realize I'm just not strong enough to deal with these situations. I don't think I would be. It is because maybe I would want, if I would be Tony Robbins, I would want to hug everybody who is spending 3 days together, and I'm helping you, and I see you and cheering you on. I mean. He made us walk on fire. That was his thing at the time. And he was there, and just you could see these securities around him, and you could not get too close because of that.
And I'm sure at times it was dangerous.
Exactly.
And you can receive threats.
Yes.
And it can be very frightening.
Yes.
And people believe that because you're so accessible to them, you're in their home or on their device whenever they want you, that when they actually see you, you should be that accessible.
Yeah. I back to Taylor Swift, and I think it's great that she's so friendly to everybody, but I really truly hope that she has her own private time that there's no one knows, because hopefully she deserves that, and she has it, and then she gets to do whatever, and nobody judges her. Because that, I mean, we know she's perfect, but still, people just have that.
I do think people judge. I've heard people say, oh, I saw my favorite comedian out at a restaurant, and I went over there and I'm like, hey, and I put my arm like, you're so-and-so, and they completely dismissed me, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to watch that person again. But there is another side to it. If that was your experience all the time, where people were constantly interrupting your dinner, and this was in a private space, that would be very difficult to navigate. So maybe, I think that what you just said, you have to be strong enough to handle that, but there's different levels. And what are the expectations? If you're going to put yourself out there as a celebrity, what are the expectations? People are going to come up to you. How are you going to handle it? Are you strong enough to handle it? So these are the questions that people probably should ruminate before they decide to become famous, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was just, as you were talking, Scott and I were shopping in Florida one time, and we went into this fancy shop, and he was looking around, and I didn't care for the clothes, and I just said, I'm just going to sit down. And I could feel, I was looking at my phone, and I could feel somebody just sort of sit down. And then as he was sitting down, he bumped my elbow, and I didn't look up. I said, I'm sorry. And he said, I'm sorry, but the voice, it was Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, okay.
So his voice, I mean, it's so recognizable. I was so cool and controlled, and I just looked up and I said hello, and he said hello. Not much, very little interaction. And Scott,
oh geez, what did Scott do?
So Scott comes towards us, and he completely, I never seen Scott froze, but he froze, and he had this high-pitched voice saying, I like your movies. He said, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then his wife was coming out. She was trying fitting a dress, and they were leaving. And Scott I said, let's go. Like, we're going now. And he's like, well, you should have asked an autograph. I said, that's his private time. Yeah, they were trying on shopping, and there's absolutely no way. I would never.
Yeah.
I would never ask us out. That's just so not me.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool that I get to see that I was sitting next to him, and that voice. I mean, he just has the coolest voice, right? And I, like I said, I like your movies. I just find Scott was so funny. He was
You
so
never
funny.
know how you're going to act
To react.
as you are.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, because it was so out of context.
For
Too. It was
sure.
unexpected.
But he
the
even
power someone has over
that
Yeah.
aura
the
and
power.
yes.
Yes.
Did you ever go up to somebody to take a picture with them, like a celebrity?
I have only at events where that's provided.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fair and
I
respectful.
truly just I've worked in venues where celebrities come through or they're with their families and children, and you can tell by the way they're dressed, they don't want to be noticed. They
Yeah.
want to have an experience like everybody else.
Yes.
And I think I was just trained early to keep it professional and admire them from afar.
Yeah.
If they came over to me, of course, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
I just always still get really excited. I can't help it.
It's very exciting.
I do.
It's not like
And
I'm a cool cucumber.
My daughter
Very
lives in
exciting.
LA, and every time I go visit her, I
You
see
see-
something. I see
you
somebody
see
every
people.
time. And you have to be really cool in LA because they're everywhere. Celebrities are everywhere. So you just have to be cool all the time. But you're inside, I'm always like, oh, that's so cool.
Now, did you have pictures with people?
No, because again, like
You didn't do it
aren't
either?
supposed to do that, especially. But like you said, if you're at a forum that's supposed to be like celebrating that particular celebrity, then you're on.
Then it
Then
is.
it's appropriate
Mhm.
to ask.
So that they have this concept, and I'm sure you're familiar, Ava, knowing Christian Comic-Con.
Yes.
So, they created that so that people could be in touch with those who are creating these legendary comic strips and online content and so forth. And then that grew to other types of cons. And there are reality TV conventions.
Okay.
BravoCon is just finished. So there are entire streaming networks dedicated to the content coming from fan interaction with these reality TV celebrities and their families and their brands and, their upcoming seasons. And it's part of their contract.
Wow.
They are paid to show up, but it is a structured, controlled setting
Okay.
where people get to connect. And I think they consider it so significant to the actual success and survival that people do eventually need to connect in some way that's controlled, but that gives them access to these people. But there are also conventions for true crime people. So, and there have been fictional and reality shows and podcasts and various treatments of how human nature almost celebrates, right, criminal acts.
Wow.
Do you
And
remember the
those
show
who commit them.
Chicago? Have you ever watched the musical Chicago? It's
Right.
all about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I feel like wasn't Zellwig. Oh, they
Yeah,
got Catherine Zeta-Jones in there.
Yes, and that was what the show was about.
Mhm.
It was a time period in Chicago where people were famous for whatever the crime.
For being high-profile
It
criminals,
was
Yeah.
most famous
anti-heroes.
women. Yeah, and that's what the whole show was about. And then Richard Gere, I think, in the movie played
Yes.
the attorney who helped these women who were in jail. But that was what that was all about.
It's really fascinating, right? It's that parasocial piece. People start to identify. They have a lot of content accessible to them. It's compelling for one reason or another. It may start out very small, but before you know it, it's become something that's almost consuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so deep and it's so all over, right? It has so many and like you said, they have so much power and it's money. It seems to me that what we're saying here is from Kardashians. Look at the brands that they created, the
Amazing
clothes,
stuff.
the
Talk about
makeup.
a global empire.
Global
It is
empire.
from that.
What about the makeup that
Yes,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
It is what a power they must have.
They have a lot of influence.
And talk about influencing, right? With people. And I mean, they must. I wonder if they are happy. They seem to be, right? And I don't even know if it's matter, if this is just their job, and this is, like you said, that's all they know anyway.
Exactly. This is all they know.
They don't know anything else.
It's all they know. And they were, whether they wanted to be or not, this is combining true crime with reality TV and entertainment.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Whether they wanted to be or not, in the 90s, they literally, out of complete happenstance, found themselves in the middle of the O.J. Simpson tragedy and scandal.
Do you know the connection? Because
the father was the defense attorney.
Yes, and they were friends.
Best friend.
I think friends with them, yeah.
And O.J. Simpson hid in Kim Kardashian's bedroom.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. I missed that.
She was young.
Oh, I missed that.
So that it all sort of started there. So they found themselves, whether they wanted to be or not, in a context that was a huge media storm. And it was protracted.
That was crazy. That was really the first big reality thing was O.J. Simpson trial. It was
we were watching everything in real time, and because of closed circuit television, we were viewing that. So
everybody in the America was watching that.
And you were here.
Yeah, I think it was fascinating because who he was, and then could he? Did he? Did he really do it? And she was beautiful, and people were believers or non-believers, and you just wanted to know what just happened here. And it was sort of like a word, I don't know.
And we were more naive.
Yeah, it was like a fascination.
It was fascinating. And I had just finished law school, so I was all the expert. People would ask me all these questions.
I bet.
It felt very important.
And you were in Vegas too, weren't you?
When it actually happened, I remember, I remember where I was. But it's one of those things.
I remember where I was.
So I was actually at the lake with a bunch of couples. You know some of them, some friends, some mutual friends. I don't like to say names.
No,
but I was at the lake with some couples that I'm friends with, and we were having a great time. And all of a sudden, someone's like, "Oh my gosh, OJ's escaping in his white Bronco!" And you remember he was on the lam. He was fleeing from the police, and we all just stopped what we were doing, and we ran in front of the TV, and we're like, "Oh my gosh!" It was like the most exciting thing ever, and that's where it all started. The trial was fascinating. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Every day I was working in my first law firm in Las Vegas, like you were saying, and thank you for knowing that. I don't even know how you know that. How did you get that timeline?
I do track details, people. Be careful around me.
Scary.
You're good at that.
But anyway, wow. But anyway, so I was in a law firm. I was young. I was a new attorney, and I thought every detail. I mean, there were wagers in the law firm the day the verdict came out. Yeah. I actually it was Las Vegas. I didn't actually have money, but I think I got lunch because I said I think he's going to be not guilty, and everyone.
Wow, okay.
I did think that, and I got lunch.
Wow,
you're taken out to lunch.
You're amazing.
Wow.
I do. I remember where I was. I was packing to spend a couple of days at the U.S. Open at Oakmont.
Oh, cool.
And I'm packing my bag. I've turned on the television, and my chin. I just remember my chin falling on the floor almost.
Okay.
It was crazy. And that's all we talked about.
So you thought he was going to be rendered guilty by the jury?
I probably hoped.
Okay.
And I believed that he was. Allegedly. But and it was difficult because it took a long time.
Yeah.
And by that point, I had moved out of state when everything came to trial. My life had changed a lot. And I just found myself in a really different environment. And in that environment, many people wanted him to be found not guilty.
in Connecticut.
New Jersey,
Oh,
Northern Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey.
Yeah, Northern New Jersey. I was in an office in Northern New Jersey, and so right by Liberty Island. And
Okay.
I was in it's just a very different cross section of the United States.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was so famous.
So famous, so popular, so
Popular, yeah.
identified with, an icon to everyone, and a very important and significant role model for many communities.
Mm-hmm.
And so people were relating to this whole circumstance and to him from various levels of personal investment,
Yeah.
cultural investment,
Okay.
social investment. And I'm sitting there crestfallen whenever I heard the...
So do you remember when he had the glove, Johnny Cochran?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
if
you
it
can't
doesn't
forget it.
fit, you must
Yeah.
quit.
That Johnny Cochran, yeah.
He was.
It was something, huh?
Yeah.
It changed television. It literally changed the way we all saw the world.
A lot
After
of
that.
people probably wanted to become
Oh,
attorneys.
yeah. Because then after that became all the court TV.
It's
TV,
courtroom, and it's more drama,
yeah.
but it's real drama.
Real.
It's real
reality.
versus
Reality.
our movie that just be all
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
like
Real people.
Mhm.
So it became a phenomenon, and then all this reality TV show. And now today,
And then the attorneys became
they
famous.
became famous.
The
Oh, everyone wanted to
judge
know.
became
How about Marsha
famous.
Clark, what she would wear every day?
Oh,
That was the
yeah.
prosecutor. Why did he ask what the guys
Her
wear?
glow up.
Always
Yeah.
girls.
Or the hair. Wasn't she
hair.
had like
She
really
had the
curly hair?
and everyone's like, hey. But why didn't anybody care what the guys were wearing? They were more concerned with what Marsha Clark was wearing every day.
Especially in that era. Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting,
was
but
so
I
interesting.
still was able to separate maybe because I didn't know him as much as you guys.
We grew up with him,
Yeah.
and he was somebody who appealed to everybody across all classes, all races. We have an expression which I've always found interesting, and I've talked to a lot of people about it. We say sports hero, and that's an interesting concept, and I don't know if it's specific to the United States or specific to European
We have soccer
cultures.
players.
They're heroes, right?
Yes.
For sure. And why are they heroes? I mean, a hero to me, honestly, would be somebody who saves lives, risks lives, takes that kind of chance.
I think
But we see them as heroes.
I think it's because maybe despite like whatever adversity they had growing up, they reached their childhood dream. I think that's why people
It's an attainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
to football.
It's an attainment.
players.
I take nothing away from them.
Yeah.
I love it, and I
Yeah.
like to watch
Yeah.
sports, and
Yeah.
you root for the teams,
Yeah.
you root for the individual, you want to know their backstory. But he really did have a hero status, and we were highly invested
Yeah.
in him being innocent.
Yes.
And if we would fast forward to today, I'm curious to know from each of you, how do you think the verdict would have come?
I think it would be very different today. The other thing I want to say, which is very interesting, is obviously we all know what double jeopardy. They can't try somebody for the same crime.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in a way, oh gosh, goodness, we are almost done. Okay, well, double jeopardy is just very quickly like you can't try somebody for the same crime. However, if you look at it, OJ was later tried for a robbery case. Do you know?
Yeah,
Because he went into some room with some friends and they were dressed apparently like robbers. But he was saying he was getting back his own stuff. And technically, he probably shouldn't have been convicted and served that much time for that crime.
Yeah.
But people said that was really like a double jeopardy thing.
Yeah.
Because they really got him because they wanted to get him before. And I thought that was also a very interesting legal piece. But anyway, I don't have all the answers. But I do know that I do think that it really changed big time and influenced our culture and the way we look at reality shows as compared to like the fiction.
Yes. We'll still love watching them, and we will. But so this was fun, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Scott, yes. We miss you.
Great, Scott. We miss you. It's not the same without
Yeah,
you, but
see you
this
next
was
time.
this was great.
Thank you so
Good.
much. ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I enjoyed
you.
this time with you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.